I started out as a comedy writer-performer over a decade ago, and let me tell you, there are a lot of things I wish someone had told me beforehand. Whether you're starting out or just curious about how the acting, writing, comedy world works, these 5 tips could save you a big headache. Here are 5 things I wish I knew before I started in comedy.
So, do you have any idea how much this might be worth?
I think I'm the embodiment of playing the long game. I started my comedy acting, writing, whatever you want to call it, over 20 years ago. So not only have I not had overnight success, I've actually had 7,305 mornings where I woke up not famous.
What's happened here is unforgivable.
Now I have to level with you. That's pretty common. And expectation management is so important that I sort of wonder why colleges and universities don't really bother with it. We hear it all the time. The latest celeb or star or rising sensation that just seemed to come out of nowhere, out of the blue. Take Richard Gadd of Baby Reindeer fame. Everyone referred to him as this overnight sensation, but that takes away a central core theme of his show. He spent years working on stuff, performing to very few people, trying his best to find something that's going to stick, that's going to land. Get used to that. And if you do make it, however making it looks for you, you can then enjoy catching up on the sleep that you've missed from the never-ending number of nights you were waiting for or expecting to wake up to success. Rejection comes in many forms. As an actor, you expect to lose more jobs than you land from auditioning. As a writer, more scripts or treatments will be rejected than slated. And as a comedian, you're going to endure more shit gigs than great gigs, especially as you're working out your act. The point is, rejection needs to pass over you like planes pass over the Atlantic. It's just not worth spending any time on it. And this is something I wish I knew, but in a slightly nuanced way. I never really had a problem with rejection, especially in my 20s. So cocky and arrogant I was that I'd make it, I never imagined for a minute that I wouldn't. So every rejected script, every bad audience, I just put it down to it being them, not me. And that was bad. So arrogance gets you nowhere, in my opinion. And just because we hear about the divas who demand a grilled chicken breast while filming 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Is this couscous?
Yeah.
I asked for quinoa!
Or the global superstar who insists on having 6 teenagers in vests ready for a semi-naked play fight whenever the mood takes them. The arrogance won't do you any favours unless you can prove you can bank millions. And even then, it's not a good look. But in the last decade, as my output started to improve, rejection did start to hurt. Whether that was working on a sitcom for months, years, with a production company, only for them to drop it at the end of the process. Or getting penciled for acting jobs, but never quite landing the role. It's hard not to think that the universe is against you at that point. But it's not. The universe doesn't care, so get over it. Rejection teaches resilience, it's part of the job. Building relationships in the industry is absolutely 100% essential. No doubt about it. But the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, is not entirely accurate. Knowing people high up in the industry or famous people is exciting. It's ego-tickling, no doubt about it. But if you aren't prepared to put in the work and develop what it is that you offer audiences, it doesn't matter at all. See, I was in an interesting position 20 years ago when I first moved to London in September 2005.
That a good year? Oh yes, I should say so, yes.
Jesus. Charlotte Church was playing GAY at the Astoria. The weather was absolutely perfect that summer. My dreams were coming true. I was moving to London. And just 2 weeks after moving to London, I managed to gatecrash one of the Pet Shop Boys' birthday parties in central London. And I met a whole host of people at this event, and some of them have become lifelong friends. And while all of that was undeniably exciting, it also played quite a detrimental role in how I would spend my 20s. Firstly, I assumed that success was now going to be easy. I mean, overnight, I was ushered into this secret world of success, on the periphery, but still there. Meeting everyone from Paul Rudd and Robert Pattinson to even introducing Andrew Lloyd Webber to Harry Styles at Jimmy Carr's house. True story. One for another time. I've just got to quickly pick up all of those names that I just dropped.
A dickhead!
I just figured that success would inevitably now rub off on me, and it was just a waiting game. As networking goes, I kind of cracked it. I won. I hit the jackpot. Don't get me wrong, that didn't mean that I entirely sat on my laurels waiting for this success. I mean, the decade that followed saw me take shows to the Edinburgh Fringe, tour those shows up and down the UK, develop online content, draft numerous scripts and run my own stand-up comedy night. But beyond the physical effort of doing those things, I never really put the effort into better my work. So consumed I was that the notion of success for me was just around the corner because everyone I was knocking around with was at the top of their game. I failed to do what was necessary. So don't do that.
Dead. Dead.
Even if you're sat across the table from your idol who you think will make you an overnight success just 'cause, put the work in. Because remember, the industry is tough. It's fickle. Those people themselves are fighting for their next job, their next opportunity to shine. But despite all of that, and maybe my experiences are a little bit blurred, networking is essential. It's important that you get to know people in your circles. Just try and juggle that with what it is that you actually offer. You're going to encounter a whole range of people on your journey to success and or failure. Some might promise you the world without having it to give, while others might offer tangible advice that seems less sexy. Either way, keep your feet on the ground and weigh up what's on offer. And always question what they're asking of you, especially if money's involved. I mean, I'm a pretty savvy guy. I've worked in finance for 12 years. Oh, yeah. You're going to need a secondary career, most likely, to keep a roof over your head and keep your belly full. Just try and pick one a little bit more interesting than mine. And I'm pretty confident that I can spot a scam before I fall victim to one. But even I was sadly duped by some pond scum that claimed to be a producer.
Hello.
Now, this story is going to be its own video one day because there's just too many important lessons I learned that I want to share. But the main takeaway? Don't part with any of your money unless you can 100% trust the person. So long story short, we shot our own sitcom pilot, right? We wrote the whole script and we filmed the full thing. We had a producer on board who we'd met loads of times in pre-production and I trusted the guy, right?
You shit! You dumb shit!
Now, he asked for some money to pay the various members of crew in advance of the shoot. But sadly, he was a con man and stole the money. The crew didn't get paid. We very nearly didn't finish the project. It was a complete disaster.
Look, Frank, now is not the time for recrimination. Now is the time for reconciliation.
So don't make that mistake. And it's not just con artists you need to worry about. People might promise you something glorious in return for a night on the town or a night in and then out of your dressing gown. And go for it if you're happy with the arrangement. But just know that most of the time it's not going to lead to anything more than just a disappointing walk of shame.
Scar me, physically to my face.
See, I thought I needed to have a perfect plan. But honestly, it's all trial and error. And that's okay. See, my perfect plan of treading the boards with live shows until someone of importance came in and saw it and wanted to put us on the radio, and eventually that radio show to move on to the telly came crashing down when people stopped listening to the radio and stopped watching telly. Technology and viewers' expectations evolve all the time, so remain agile. Don't fixate on one specific idea. Hone your talent, collaborate, create, and leave the rest up to fate.
Do you know, I'll never forget.
Because what you have to remember is talent and drive, they're just prerequisites. You've got to have them. We need more than that. And it's not something you can plan for, really. So if someone says good luck, take it. Be open-minded. Manifest if you have to. Do what you can to find that luck, because the truth is, it can happen to anyone. It just can't happen to everyone. Comedy, writing, acting, whatever. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So keep going, learn from your mistakes, and have fun with it. Drop a comment below if you've experienced anything like this, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss my next video. Cheers.
Ta-da!